My beloved child, you have cried out for faith, and I have heard you. Yet faith is not nurtured in calm days, when everything feels certain and familiar. It is formed when the ground beneath you is no longer steady, when the supports you once relied on slip from your grasp, and you are left with only one place to hold on to me. The righteous shall live by faith, Romans 1:17. To live by faith is to walk even when you cannot clearly see, to trust my word more than the shifting emotions within your own heart. Faith does not mature in absolute safety. It grows along steep paths where you must choose, either believe in fear or believe in my faithfulness. When Peter stepped out of the boat into the stormy sea, he stood firm only as long as his eyes were fixed on me, Matthew 14:29-31. The waves did not cease, yet his focus determined whether he stood or sank. So it is with you. I do not remove every trial simply to make you comfortable. I use those very trials to teach you how to anchor your heart in the unchanging truth that I am faithful. You have asked for patience, and I have not answered by making everything happen instantly. Instead, I have allowed you to walk through long days that seem endless, where time moves slowly and answers have not yet appeared. But understand this, it is in those very days that I am shaping your soul. The testing of your faith produces patience, James 1:3. Patience is not merely the ability to wait without frustration. It is the inner strength forged when you continue to believe, even without seeing results. You are learning that the value of your life does not lie in how quickly your desires are fulfilled, but in the depth of the transformation I am working within you. The world celebrates speed, but I value growth. A great tree does not rise in a single night. Its roots must go deep before its trunk can grow tall. In the same way, I am causing your roots to grow deep in me, so that when the winds rise, you will not be shaken. Do not see your pain as punishment. Do not mistake delays for indifference. I do not punish you through trials. I train you through them. For the Lord disciplines the one he loves, Hebrews 12:6. This discipline does not come from anger, but from a love that desires your wholeness. Every obstacle you face is not a sign that I have turned away. It is evidence that I am answering the deepest prayer of your heart, the prayer to become strong, steadfast, and mature. Remember Job. He did not understand why he endured such loss and suffering. Yet in the end, he declared, "My ears had heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you," Job 42:5. Through what he could not comprehend, he was led into a deeper relationship with me. So it is with you. What you do not understand today is preparing you for a deeper knowing tomorrow. There will come a day when you look back and realize that what I did not give you when you pleaded was itself a grace. You will see that if I had answered every desire at the moment you wished, you might have received what you were not yet ready to hold. And you will say with gratitude, "Thank you, Lord, for not giving me what I thought was good, but for withholding it to give me something more complete." My beloved child, everything you pass through rests within my hands. The obstacles you encounter are not outside my plan. They are part of the answer itself. When you asked to be transformed, I did not merely say amen from afar. I began to move within your life. And though you may not fully understand today, I assure you that not a single tear is meaningless. Not a single day of waiting is wasted. Keep walking, even when you cannot yet see the destination. Keep believing, even when your emotions still waver. For I am at work deeper, Vita, and greater than anything you can imagine. And when the season of fulfillment arrives, you will realize that every trial, every delay, every confusing turn was a brushstroke in the perfect portrait of love I have been completing for you. My beloved, do not let the flame of hope within you fade simply because the sky is still covered with clouds. The silence you hear is not the emptiness of absence. but the depth of a plan being woven beyond the reach of your ears. Even when you cannot perceive my voice, I am still whispering intentions of love from eternity. The Lord is the faithful God who keeps his covenant and steadfast love. Deuteronomy 7:9. I do not fail my promises just because you have not yet seen the signs. I do not depart simply because you have not yet heard the sound. Do not allow delay to cool your heart. Let it become the season in which your roots grow deeper in me. A great tree does not stand firm because it has never faced the wind. It stands because its roots run deep into the earth. Blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord. He is like a tree planted by the water. Its leaves remain green. Jeremiah 17:7-8. You are not called to live by fleeting moments of excitement, but to stand steadfast in every season. When the winds rise, you will not be shaken if you have learned to cling to me. I know there are days when you feel like a seed buried in darkness, yet it is within the soil that life begins to gather. Those who sow in tears shall reap with songs of joy. Psalm 126:5. Tears do not ruin the harvest, they water the seed. Waiting is not emptiness, it is the time in which I am preparing you for your season of blooming. And when my appointed time comes, you will bear fruit not because of your own strength, but because I have been with you every step of the way. Take hold of my hand. My child, I have not promised to lead you along an easy path. I lead you along a path refined by grace. As my people once passed through the Red Sea, not on a smooth carpet, but on dry ground between walls of water, Exodus 14, they did not open the way themselves. I did. So it will be for you. When you look back, you will see that where you thought was the end, I had already made a way. I am the one who turns what seems dead into life. When Ezekiel stood before the valley of dry bones, he saw only ruins. But I spoke, and my breath caused those bones to rise as a great army. Ezekiel 37. You look at the fragments and think nothing remains. I look and see the potential for resurrection. I write miracles from the very pages of your life that you thought were torn beyond repair. Therefore, do not release my hand when you have not yet seen the outcome. Do not measure the journey only by the present stretch of road. I am leading you not merely to a destination, but into transformation. And when you blossom in the season I have appointed, people will not only see the fruit, they will see my footprints in every step you have taken. My beloved child, you are part of my beautiful and unfailing plan. No storm can destroy what I have begun. No delay can distort my intention. Be steadfast. Keep moving forward, for I, the Lord, your God, am with you, lifting you and leading you to the place where goodness will surely spring forth from the very ground you once believed could never live again. My beloved, lift up your eyes and behold the vast heavens, where each star quietly hangs in the perfect orbit I have ordained. The heavens declare the glory of God. Psalm 19:1. The dawn does not rise by chance, nor does the sunset fall by accident. The wind moves at my command. The sea rises and calms according to the rhythm I have set. Mountains stand firm, not by their own strength, but because I uphold them. All creation together proclaims my glory, not through words, but through its very existence. And within this great symphony, you are not a background note. You are a work into which I have poured my full intention. If the entire universe moves under my sovereignty, why do you think you stand outside my care? You look up at the sky in awe. Yet you look down on yourself with harsh judgment. You weigh your worth with crooked measures of comparison. You look around and see others who seem more capable, more beautiful, more successful, and you quietly conclude that you are not enough. But my child, I have never measured you by such standards. Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. 1 Samuel 16:7. When Samuel searched for a future king, He looked at appearance and thought he had found the right one. But I saw David, a young shepherd in the fields, unnoticed and uncelebrated. I chose him not for his stature, but for his heart. So it is with you. The world may exalt achievement and outward form, but I seek depth, sincerity, and a heart that knows how to love. You have allowed the voices around you to define who you are. You think that if you do not attain this or possess that, you are of lesser worth. But I have never placed your value on a scale of accomplishments. I do not weigh you by achievements, nor do I count you by the recognition of others. I have called you by name, you are mine, Isaiah 43:1. Your identity does not come from comparison, it comes from your relationship with me. You condemn yourself when you fail, and you belittle yourself when you do not measure up to those around you. Yet you forget that every person I have created bears a distinct imprint. No two stars are exactly alike, yet each reflects my light in its own way. When you compare yourself to others, you miss what I have uniquely placed within you. You are not called to copy, you are called to express my image in the way I have inscribed within you. Remember Moses. He believed he was slow of speech and unfit to stand before Pharaoh. He told me he was not capable. But I said, "Who has made man's mouth? Now go, I will be with your mouth." Exodus 4:11-12. What Moses saw as a weakness did not prevent me from using him. What you call a deficiency does not cause me to withdraw my purpose from your life. My beloved child, your worth is not placed on the scales of comparison. It is inscribed in the very act of my creating you in my image. Genesis 1:27. When you diminish yourself, you are forgetting your origin. You are not a random product. You are an intentional work of art. I do not look upon you with harsh judgment. I behold you with the eyes of the one who has breathed life into you. Therefore, cease condemning yourself. Stop allowing the voices of the world to drown out my voice. When you look up at the heavens and see my glory, remember that you, too, are part of that glory, not because you are perfect, but because you belong to me. And when you begin to believe this, you will no longer search for your worth elsewhere. You will stand firm in the truth that you are enough, not because the world declares it, but because I have spoken it from the beginning. My beloved, let this truth sink deeply into your soul. Your value does not originate from what you do, but from the love I have for you. You do not become precious when you achieve something. You have been precious from the moment I called you mine. I have engraved you on the palms of my hands. Isaiah 49:16. You are not a name easily forgotten among the crowd. Your name is carved into the very place I hold. Even the hairs of your head are all numbered. Matthew 10:30. This does not speak of rigid control, but of meticulous care. You do not belong to me only when you are strong, confident, and successful. You belong to me even when you are weary, when you stumble, when you feel full of cracks. My love does not fluctuate with your condition. It does not increase when you do right, nor diminish when you fail. The Lord is the everlasting rock, Isaiah 26:4. Like a rock standing firm amid the waves. My love does not waver with your emotions. You have often tried to become a better version of yourself, as though only by reaching a certain standard you would be worthy of love. But hear me clearly. My Son Jesus Christ did not die for an ideal version of you that you have never attained. God demonstrates his love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Romans 5-8. He did not wait for you to become perfect before giving his life. He came while you were still wounded, still uncertain, still incomplete. When you had nothing to offer, he offered himself. When your hands were empty, the cross was extended. You think you must fix everything before drawing near to me. Yet that love came before you could change. Look to the cross and understand, it is not a transaction, it is grace. Not because you are worthy, but because my love is greater than your imperfection. Remember the woman caught in sin. The crowd stood ready to condemn, and she bowed her head in shame. But my son stood between her and the stones. He did not deny the truth of sin, yet he did not allow condemnation to have the final word. John 8, 10, 11. So it is with you. When you condemn yourself, remember that I do not see you through the lens of failure, but through the lens of grace. My beloved, do not let your past declare that you are not enough. Do not let the voice of shame cause you to forget the call of love. I do not love you because you are perfect. I love you because I am love. We love because he first loved us. 1 John 4:19. That love goes before every achievement, surpasses every failure, and remains even when you feel unworthy. Stop striving to earn the acceptance I have already given. Cease measuring yourself by the harsh standards of the world. You are not defined by what you gain or lose. You are defined by this truth. You belong to me. And when you stand in that truth, you will no longer seek your worth elsewhere. You will live not in order to be loved, but from the place of already being loved, not to prove that you are enough, but because I have declared that you are enough in me. Let your heart come to rest in that unchanging love, for it does not depend on your condition. It is as steady as an ancient rock, deeper than every ocean, and higher than the heavens. And within that love, you discover your true identity, a child who is loved, held, and never abandoned. My beloved, hear this clearly in the depths of your soul. You do not need to become perfect in order to be loved by me. My love is not a reward suspended before you, something you must reach through exhausting effort. It is a foundation already laid long before you ever learned to walk. For by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not from yourselves. It is the gift of God, Ephesians 2-8. You do not earn grace, you simply open your heart to receive it. You have grown accustomed to living in a world where everything must be exchanged. Achievement for recognition, effort for worth. But I do not operate in that way. I do not love you because you have done enough. I love you because you belong to me. And when you receive that love, you are no longer placed under the burden of having to prove yourself worthy. You are born again into a new life. If anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. 2 Corinthians 5:17. Transformation does not come from your own strength. It comes from grace, quietly working within you each day. My child, why are you so harsh with yourself? Why do you condemn yourself with words I have never spoken, while I, the Holy One, am patient with you? You are impatient with yourself. The Lord is compassionate and gracious, slow to anger. Psalm 103:8. If I am not quick to accuse you, why are you so quick to accuse yourself? If I look upon you with mercy, why do you look upon yourself with severity? Learn to see yourself through my eyes. When I look at you, I do not see only your mistakes. I see your journey. I do not see only the times you have fallen. I see the times you have risen again. I do not see only your weaknesses. I see the desire within you to do what is right. Like the father in the story of the prodigal son, I do not stand waiting to reproach you. I run to meet you when you return. Luke 15:20. I do not require a perfect report. I seek a heart willing to come back. Do not let the voice of your past continue to define you. The past may recount your failures, but I speak of grace. There is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Romans 8:1. Accusation does not come from me. I did not create you to live under the shadow of shame, but under the light of restoration. My beloved, I see you striving. I see you wrestling with your limitations. I see that you do not give up, even when you are weary. And to me, that is more precious than all the glory the world can offer. I am not seeking a flawless person. I am seeking one who is willing to trust me in the midst of their weakness. The holiness I call you into is not a cold, flawless perfection. It is a daily growth within relationship with me. Like a branch connected to the vine, you bear fruit, not by strained effort, but by abiding in me. John 15:4-5. When you remain in my love, transformation comes naturally. Therefore, lay down the burden of trying to save yourself. Stop striving to reach an image I have never required. Let my grace work within you. Let your heart soften before that unconditional love. You do not need to be perfect to be loved. You are already loved. And from that foundation, you will grow not out of fear of rejection, but from the assurance that you are accepted. In that acceptance, you find freedom. And in that freedom, you become what I have intended for you from the beginning. My beloved, whenever you stumble and find yourself lying on the ground of disappointment, I do not stand at a distance watching. I do not turn my face away because of your failure. I come near. I kneel beside you. I place my hand within yours, and I remind you with a voice both gentle and unshakable, you still belong to me. No fall can remove you from that identity. The Lord upholds all who fall and lifts up all who are bowed down. Psalm 145:14. That support does not come from afar. It is present in the very moment of your weakness. The tears you think fall in silence, I see them all. Not one is forgotten. You have kept count of my tossings, put my tears in your bottle. Psalm 56:8. Tears are not a sign of failure, but a witness to the journey of faith. They declare that you still care, still hope, still believe that something is worth waiting for, even when your heart feels shattered. The fact that you still turn toward me is a confession more powerful than words. So, my child, stop condemning yourself. Cease demanding from yourself a perfection I have never placed upon you. I do not love you because you never fail. I love you because you are mine. There is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Romans 8:1. If I do not condemn you, why do you continue to do so? Let me love you, not the version you try to present before the world, but the real you, with all your fractures and fragility. I do not love you after you have fixed everything. I love you in the process. Like the shepherd who goes out to find the lost sheep and rejoices when he finds it, Luke 15:5. I do not wait for you to return perfectly on your own. I come to you and carry you. Allow my love to reach the places you still keep hidden. Do not fear letting me see your weakness. I have already seen it, and I have still chosen to remain. My grace does not only cover, it cleanses. It does not merely remove shame, it heals memory. If we confess our sins, He is faithful and just to forgive us and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. 1 John 1-9. Cleansing is not only the removal of guilt, it is the restoration of dignity. You do not need to become someone else in order to be accepted. You do not need to compare yourself with anyone. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Psalm 139:14. I did not create a copy. I created you. And what I create is never ordinary. When you try to become another pattern, you obscure the uniqueness I have placed within you. Return to rest in me. Rest is not surrendering to passivity. It is trusting that I am at work even when you pause. Lay down the burdens you have placed upon your own shoulders, the burden to prove, to be perfect, to always be strong. I have never given you those burdens. Cast your burden on the Lord, and He will sustain you. Psalm 55:22. I have begun a good work in you, and I will bring it to completion, not by pressure, but by love, not by force, but by grace, not by demand, but by an unchanging truth. You are my child. That identity does not shift with circumstances, does not diminish with emotions, and does not disappear through failure. Remain in my embrace. Trust that when you are weak, I am still strong. When you doubt, I remain certain. When you fall, I am still there. And above all, remember this, as the foundation of your life, I do not change. And because I do not change, my love for you will never change. My beloved, the time has come for you not only to hear, but to truly believe that the chains of shame no longer have authority over you. For so long, you have held onto them as if they were a necessary punishment, as though tormenting yourself were the only way to prove your repentance. You have thought that if you hurt long enough, if you accuse yourself deeply enough, then you might become worthy of forgiveness. But my child, I have never placed such a condition upon you. I do not require you to punish yourself in order to receive grace. Grace is not a transaction. It is a gift already given in full. Stop. Truly stop. And look at me not with the eyes of fear, but with the eyes of a child who knows they have a father. If the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. John 8:36. That freedom is not an abstract idea. It is a reality sealed by blood upon the cross. My only Son has carried what you believe you must still bear. Surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. Isaiah 53:4. You do not need to hold on to what I have already taken away. You live as though the sentence still hangs over you, as though forgiveness were a word not yet completed. But when my Son declared, "It is finished," John 19:30, it was not a promise for the future, it was a completion for the present. The accusation has been torn away. He canceled the record of debt that stood against us, nailing it to the cross. Colossians 2:14. You do not need to keep reading a sentence that I have already erased. Lay it down, my child. Lay down the accusations that echo in your mind each night. Lay down the memories you continue to use against yourself. I see every mistake, every missed opportunity, every wound you have caused. Yet I do not look at you through the lens of your past. I see you through the lens of grace. There is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Romans 8:1. If there is no condemnation from me, why do you continue to build a courtroom within your own heart? Remember Peter? He denied my Son 3 times in the very hour that mattered most. He wept bitterly, carrying within him a deep shame. Yet after the resurrection, I did not bring up his failure to condemn him. I asked him 3 times, "Do you love me?" John 21:15-17, not to wound him further, but to restore him. From the place of denial, I led him into his calling. So it is with you. Failure is not the end in my hands. It can become the beginning of growth. You think you must repay the past to make things right, but justice has already been satisfied at the cross. When you continue to punish yourself, you live as though that sacrifice were not enough. Believe that it is enough to cleanse, enough to restore, enough to give you a new beginning. I do not open my arms because you have a flawless record. I open them because you return with a humble heart, a broken and contrite heart. O God, you will not despise. Psalm 51-17. I do not seek a spotless history. I seek a willing heart. My beloved, shame is not my voice. My voice is restoration. My voice is life. My voice calls you out of the darkness of self-condemnation and into the light of freedom. Do not hold on to what I have already removed. Do not carry what I have already taken away. Come near to me as you are now without hiding, without striving. Let my grace reach the deepest places you have kept concealed. When you release that burden, you will realize that I have never stood at a distance waiting for you to fix everything. I have always been here, ready to lift you up. And when you truly lay down shame, you will no longer live under the shadow of your past. You will live in the light of this truth. You are forgiven. You are restored. You are loved, not because you have redeemed yourself, but because I have redeemed you, and I will never take back what I have completed. My beloved, engrave this truth deep within your heart. I am not a distant being, not a vague deity who dwells far above and silently watches you from an immeasurable distance. I am your God, the one who is nearer than the very breath you take. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted, Psalm 34-18. You do not need to cry out loudly for me to hear. Even a sigh within your mind reaches me. No boundary can keep me from you. No wall can block your voice from my heart. I am not constrained by the flow of time that troubles you. The past does not bind me. The mistakes you have made do not cause me to withdraw. I am not only great enough to cover them, I am powerful enough to redeem them and turn them into testimony for my glory. Remember Joseph, the one sold by his brothers, falsely accused and imprisoned. He could have looked back and seen only injustice. Yet I turned what was meant for harm into something that brought salvation. Genesis 50:20. What you call failure, I can use to build your future. You are not fighting alone in the silent battles within your heart. I know the temptations you face, the thoughts you wrestle with, the tendencies you fear. Yet I do not stand outside waiting for you to overcome before I come near. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Hebrews 13:5. I am there the moment you step onto the battlefield. Before you even call, I am already ready to uphold you. Do not think that my help comes slowly. Do not think that I only forgive once you have proven yourself worthy. If we confess our sins, He is faithful and just to forgive us. 1 John 1:9. Forgiveness is not a reward after victory. It is grace in the midst of the battle. Temptation may be strong, but it is not greater than I am. No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind, and God is faithful. He will provide a way out. 1 Corinthians 10:13. You are not trapped. There is always a way of escape that I have prepared. When you stumble, I do not look at you with disappointment. I extend my hand to lift you up. Though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again. Proverbs 24-16. What makes the difference is not that you never fall, but that you do not remain where you have fallen. And each time you rise, it is not by your strength alone, it is my grace at work within you. My beloved, I am greater than your past. I am stronger than your temptations. I am nearer than your fears. You do not need to hide anything from me. I have seen it all. I know it all. And I still choose to remain. I do not bind you to your past. I lead you into your future. I do not leave you alone on the battlefield. I walk beside you. Therefore, when you feel weak, remember that I am your strength. When you doubt, remember that I am faithful. When you are afraid, remember that I am your protector. You do not fight to earn my love. You fight from the foundation of being already loved. Keep moving forward, even when you feel fragile. For I, your God, am not only above you, I am very near. And in that nearness, you find the assurance that nothing within you or around you is greater than my power and my love for you. My beloved, I am deeper than the layers of doubt you carry. I am not intimidated by your questions, nor do I withdraw when your faith feels dry like cracked ground. When you cry out in weariness, Lord, where are you? I do not see it as rebellion. I hear it as the voice of a heart that is searching. The Lord is near to all who call on Him in truth. Psalm 145-18. Even when that cry trembles and feels uncertain, I am there within the silence you thought was empty. Faith is not the state of never doubting. Faith is the decision to keep walking even without all the answers. Remember the father who pleaded with my son to heal his child. He cried out, "I believe, help my unbelief." Mark 9:24. I did not reject him for those words. I responded to his honest heart. So it is with you. I do not demand a perfect faith. I seek a faith that dares to turn toward me even in uncertainty. When you feel as though you are standing in a night without moon or stars, know that darkness does not obscure me. Even the darkness is not dark to you. Psalm 139:12. Silence does not mean I have departed. Sometimes it is the place where I am teaching you to listen with faith rather than with emotion. I do not distance myself when you are weak. I draw nearer. Therefore, let my grace cover you like a cloak in the cold. Do not think of forgiveness as a distant idea. Wear it as a garment each day. Clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility. Colossians 3:12. Forgiveness is not only an event of the past, it is a present reality in which you walk today. You do not need to hide from me when you stumble. I have not built a wall between us. I have already torn it down. Remember the prodigal son. While he was still far away, the father saw him and ran to meet him. Luke 15:20. I do not wait for you to clean yourself up before you return, even when you are still far off. I am already moving toward you. Do not let shame cause you to hide from me. Let it become the very reason you run to me more quickly. My mercy does not follow you like the shadow of condemnation, but like the shadow of protection. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. Psalm 23:6. Whether you turn to the left or to the right, whether you walk through a dry desert or a dense forest of trials, that mercy remains. It goes before you to make a way, walks beside you to uphold you, and stands behind you to shield you, even when you lose your way. I do not lose sight of you. The shepherd leaves the 99 to search for the one that is lost. Luke 15:4. I do not count you as a number. I seek you as a child. There is no place you can go where my love cannot reach you. My beloved, do not fear your questions. Do not fear the dry seasons. Do not fear the moments you do not yet understand. Keep moving forward. Even if your steps tremble, keep clothing yourself in grace. Even when you do not feel worthy, for I do not leave you in doubt. I do not abandon you in silence, and I do not reject you in weakness. I am there in the midst of your questions, in the midst of the darkness, in the midst of your journey, and my mercy will not cease to follow you until you come to realize that even in the paths where you thought you were most lost, I was still leading you with a love that never departs from you. My beloved, let the peace I give you not merely pass through as a fleeting emotion, but stand guard at the door of your heart like a strong fortress amid the shifting currents of life. I am not speaking of a fragile calm that depends on everything unfolding according to your desires. I am speaking of a peace that surpasses all understanding, beyond every reasoning and analysis, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds. Philippians 4:7. Guard as a gate that does not allow chaos to rush in, as a wall that does not allow fear to take hold. That peace does not vanish when storms arise. It does not break when tears fall. It does not collapse when questions remain unanswered. When my son slept in the boat amidst the raging sea, Mark 4:39, the storm did not define reality. My presence did. You may be in the midst of a storm of uncertainty, but if I am in that boat with you, you will not be overwhelmed. Peace does not mean the absence of storms. Peace means that I am there. Therefore, do not seek me only in the spaces you call sacred. Do not confine me within the walls of a church or the moments when you open Scripture. I am not limited to a place. Heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. Isaiah 66:1. I am present in every ordinary moment you might consider insignificant. Seek me in the rhythm of your daily life. When you take a deep breath and feel life flowing within you, know that it is a gift from me. When the sun sets and a gentle light covers the horizon, I am reminding you that every day closes in grace. When you see the bright eyes of someone who loves you, it is a reflection of my love. Every good and perfect gift is from above, James 1:17. I am in the innocent laughter of children, reminding you of simplicity and unfeigned joy. I am in the gentle breeze that stirs the trees, whispering that I am still governing what you cannot see. I am in the scent of earth after the rain, testifying that after every storm, life rises again. As I once spoke to Job out of the whirlwind, Job 38, I reveal my power not only through words, but through creation itself. All creation is singing not in human language, but through its very existence. And that song declares that I am still here. Not a single day do I leave my place beside you. I am with you always, to the very end of the age, Matthew 28-20. That promise holds no condition, no expiration. My beloved, let your heart open to recognize me in the simple things. When you feel lost, look around and see the traces I have left everywhere. When you feel alone, remember that I am nearer than your very thoughts. When you wonder whether I am still there, listen to the song of creation. It still resounds, still reminds you that I have never departed. Walk with that peace guarding you. Live with the awareness that I am present in every moment. And whether you stand in joy or in trial, in questions or in answers, hold fast to this unchanging truth. I am still here. I still love you, and I have never left you. My beloved, let this word sink into the deepest place of your soul like an indelible seal. Your name has been engraved upon the palms of my hands, not written lightly in ink that fades with time, not remembered vaguely as human memory forgets, but engraved as the imprint of eternal love. See, I have engraved you on the palms of my hands, Isaiah 49-16. This is not an empty image. It is a covenant of nearness that cannot be broken. Whenever I act among the nations, whenever I raise my hand in the great movements of history, you are not at the margins of the story. You are not a name lost in the crowd. You are within my heart. When my hand moves, your image is not separate from it. I do not act and forget you. I do not decree and overlook you. I do not love and exclude you. You often wonder whether you are too small in this vast world. You look at the multitude and think of yourself as a nameless grain of sand, but I do not see you that way. I have called you by name. You are mine, Isaiah 43-1. To call you by name is to know you fully, intimately, personally. I do not love an abstract idea of you. I love you. I know the dreams you have never spoken. I know the worries you hide behind your smile. I know the nights you lie awake, and the questions you dare not voice. Before a word is on my tongue, you, Lord, know it completely. Psalm 139-4. My knowledge is not cold, it is filled with love. I do not know you as a distant observer. I know you as a father knows his child. Remember Nathanael. Before he ever met my son, I saw him under the fig tree, John 1:48. He thought he was alone, yet I already knew. So it is with you. There are moments when you think no one sees, yet I have been there, not to watch for failure, but to witness your journey. You are not forgotten in the flow of time. You are not replaced by another. In me, there is no confusion of identity. I do not call the wrong name. I do not misplace a record. You are unique in the way I have created and loved you. Even if a mother could forget her child, I will not forget you. Isaiah 49-15. My love is not built upon fragile memory. It rests upon my unchanging nature. Because I love you, I do not forget you. not only because I am all-powerful and all-knowing, but because my love compels me to remember. That love is not a passing emotion, it is an eternal decision. When you feel overlooked, remember that your name remains in the palm of my hand, never erased, never hidden, never replaced. Therefore, my beloved, do not live as though you are invisible. Do not think you are lost in the crowd. You belong to me, and I know you more deeply than you know yourself. Let that truth become the foundation of your heart. When you doubt your worth, return to what I have spoken. When you feel alone, remember that you are engraved upon my hand. And that hand, the hand that created the heavens and the earth, that reached out to save, that has upheld generations, still holds you. Not loosely, not temporarily, but securely and with love. You are never a fading face to me. You are my child, and I will never forget that. My beloved, everything I do upon this earth is never separate from my watch over you. No movement of mine is blind. No plan I have for your life is random. For I know the plans I have for you, plans for peace and not for harm. Jeremiah 29:11. Those plans are not fragile like human promises that shift with emotion or circumstance. My purposes stand as firm as my own being, because I do not change. What I have intended for you does not waver. You have often wondered whether your mistakes have shattered the future I prepared for you. You look back on decisions you wish you had never made and think you have ruined everything. But my child, what I build is not so easily broken. Your stumbles do not have the power to nullify my grace. Remember David, who fell into serious sin. Yet I did not cancel the covenant I had made with him. I corrected him. I shaped him. But I did not undo what I had ordained. 2 Samuel 12, Psalm 51. Failure does not have the final word. Grace does. I know you are not perfect. I have never required you to be without flaw. Your weakness does not disappoint me. It makes room for my power to be revealed. My power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12-9. When you feel empty, that is where I can fill you. When you feel broken, that is where I can rebuild you on a deeper foundation. When you are powerless, I do not withdraw, I act. My beloved, do not see your emptiness as proof of failure. See it as the space I will fill. As I once breathed life into dust to form the first man, Genesis 2-7, I am still able to breathe new life into the parts of you that seem dead. I do not merely repair, I restore. I do not simply patch, I recreate. So consider this deeply. If God is for us, who can be against us? Romans 8:31. This is not a slogan for self-comfort. It is a truth guaranteed by the one who created the heavens and the earth. I am the one who commands the sea where to stop. Job 38:11. I determine the times and boundaries of nations. Acts 17:26. That power is not distant from you. It stands on your side. I do not stand at a distance observing your battles. I do not send you into the field and wait for the outcome. I am beside you, shielding, upholding, and fighting. When my people stood before the Red Sea with their enemies behind them, I declared, "The Lord will fight for you." Exodus 14:14. So it is with you. There are battles you are not meant to carry alone, but to learn to trust me within. No enemy, visible or unseen, can overcome me. No force can reverse what I have begun. You are not invincible by your own strength. You are secure because I am your fortress. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Psalm 27:1. My beloved, walk in that assurance. Do not let fear cause you to shrink back. Do not let your past make you doubt your future. The plans I have for you are not easily undone. My power is not diminished by your weakness, and my presence does not depart from you in any season. I stand for you, not temporarily, not hesitantly, but fully and decisively. And when I stand for you, nothing can prevail against you, for I am the one who protects, guides, and completes the good work I have begun in you. My beloved, stop fixing your gaze on the rising waves before you. The storm may be loud, but it is not the center of your story. I am the one who is in the boat with you. When Peter looked at the wind and began to sink, it was not because the water was stronger than me, but because his eyes shifted away from me. Matthew 14:30. So it is with you. What causes you to falter is not the strength of the waves, but where you place your focus. I walked upon the water not to display power, but to impress this truth upon your heart: what you fear lies beneath my feet. The waters cannot consume me. The wind cannot overthrow me. And if I am the one holding your hand, fear does not have the final word. You fear loss, but I am the one who restores the years that have been consumed. Joel 2:25. You fear hurt, but I am the Lord who heals you. Exodus 15:26. You fear the future, but I am the one who holds tomorrow in my hands. No day comes to you without first passing through my permission. Therefore, do not let fear build a wall between you and me. Lift your eyes and look into mine, not with accusation, not with coldness, but with love and peace. When my son stood in the boat and said, "Peace, be still," the wind ceased and the sea grew calm. Mark 4:39. The waves did not argue. Chaos did not resist. My voice spoke, and order returned. This was not only true upon the Sea of Galilee, it is true within your heart today. No situation is too chaotic for me to restore order. No mind is too troubled for me to bring clarity. You hear the roar of the storm louder than my whisper. But I tell you, my voice resounds stronger than thunder. The voice of the Lord is over the waters, full of power. Psalm 29:3-4. You may feel your heart crying out in anxiety, but I am greater than that noise. Listen not with your natural ears, but with faith. I am the stillness after the echo of a cry. I am not a cold emptiness, but a place of rest filled with life. When Elijah sought me amid the great wind, the earthquake, and the fire, I was not in the noise, but in the gentle whisper. 1 Kings 19:12. So it is with you. Do not seek me in the clamor of panic. Seek me in the quietness of trust. When the world demands, when responsibilities weigh heavily, when your mind spins with the unknown, come to me, not to escape reality, but to be renewed. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. Stillness is not surrendering in defeat, it is recentering yourself in me. Storms may come and go, waves may rise and fall, but I do not change. If I am in your boat, you will not sink. If I hold your hand, you will not be lost. If I speak, chaos must be silent. Therefore, turn your eyes away from what frightens you. Look to me, in my gaze. And there is assurance in my word. There is order in my presence. There is peace that surpasses all understanding. And when you choose to look at me instead of the storm, you will realize that what seemed ready to consume you is, in fact, beneath the feet of the one who loves you and sustains you every moment. My beloved, I am not a fragile peace that appears only when everything around you has settled. I am the peace that surpasses understanding, present even in the midst of what remains unresolved. The peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds. Philippians 4:7. Guard as a soldier standing at the gate, not allowing chaos to invade your soul. This peace does not depend on pleasant circumstances. It is rooted in the truth that I am still Lord. Even when you cannot yet see order taking shape, The peace I give enables you to smile even when tears still linger on your face. It allows you to stand firm amid brokenness, to hope in waiting, because it does not come from certainty about the future, but from certainty about me. When Paul and Silas sang in the prison, Acts 16:25, the chains were still there, yet peace was already within them. So it is with you. You may not yet see the door open, but I am already in the cell with you. You are never alone. There is not a single moment when I leave my place beside you. Your feelings may fail to recognize me, but my presence does not depend on them. Like the sun behind the clouds, I do not disappear when hidden. The Lord is my light and my salvation, Psalm 27:1. That light may be veiled for a time, but it is never extinguished. And the moment will come when my light breaks through clearly, and you will realize that I have never left. Let your heart find rest in me. Rest is not abandoning responsibility. It is anchoring your soul in my promise. We have this hope as an anchor for the soul, Hebrews 6:19. When the winds of doubt blow fiercely, when failure seeks to tear your faith apart, hold fast to my word as an unbreakable anchor. You do not need to understand every path in order to keep believing. You only need to know that I love you and that I do not change. My love does not shift with time, nor does it rise and fall with your successes or failures. In the Lord, do not change, Malachi 3-6. And if I do not change, then my love for you remains unchanging as well. You belong to me. No past is strong enough to separate you from me. No present is dark enough to hide you from my sight. No future is uncertain enough to unsettle me. Neither death nor life, nor angels, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God. Romans 8:38-39. This is not a temporary comfort, it is an unshakable truth. Your name has been engraved upon the palms of my hands, not written in ink that can be erased, but carved as an eternal mark. That hand, the hand that formed the heavens and the earth, that calmed the seas, that has upheld generations, still holds you. I do not loosen my grip, nor do I release you when you are weak. Therefore, my beloved, let my peace become the foundation beneath your feet. Walk through an imperfect world with a heart that is guarded. Trust that though clouds may cover the sky, the sun still shines. Though waves may rise, I am still in the boat. Though you do not yet see the fullness, I am still completing what I have begun. And above all, engrave this deeply within your soul. I love you. I hold you, and I will never let you go. My beloved, now I call you into a deeper dimension of your journey, a place where it is not outward strength, but inward courage that is tested. This path is called forgiveness. Do not draw back when you hear this. I am not asking you to deny your pain, nor to call what is wrong right. Forgiveness is not a declaration that injustice never occurred. It does not erase memory by pretending it never existed. But forgiveness opens the door your heart has longed for, the door to true peace. You have held the past in your hands like sharp fragments. Each time you remember, your heart aches. Each time you revisit it, your breath grows heavy. You cling to those fragments because you fear that if you release them, your pain will be dismissed. But, my child, the tighter you hold them, the more your hands bleed. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger be put away from you. Ephesians 4:31. I do not speak this to deny your wounds, but to free you from an unseen prison. I know you are weary. Weary from carrying old memories like a nameless burden. Weary from waiting for an apology that may never come. Weary from your heart returning again and again to a moment of pain as though it defines your entire life. But you are worthy of rest. Come to me, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. That rest is not only for your body, it is for a soul bound by resentment. Let bitterness fall like the last dry leaves of a fading season. The leaves were once part of the branch, but when the season changes, they must fall to make room for new life. If a tree clings to every old leaf, spring will never come. So it is with you. What is past was once part of your story, but it is not meant to control your next chapter. You cannot receive what is new if your hands are still clenched around what is old. Forgiveness is an act of faith. It declares that I am the one who is just, and that I will handle what you cannot. Leave room for God's wrath. Romans 12:19. You are not called to carry the role of judge forever. You are called to step into freedom. My beloved, forgiveness is not forgetting in a single day. It is a repeated decision, a releasing layer by layer. Yet with each release, your heart grows lighter. Each time you place your pain into my hands, I replace it with healing. You do not need to feel ready before you begin. You only need to be willing to trust me. Open your hands. Let the dry leaves fall. Allow me to pour new life into the space that remains. You are not defined by what others have done to you. You are defined by what I am doing within you. And as you step into forgiveness, you will discover that the peace you seek does not lie on the other side of the justice you desire, but on the other side of surrender. There, you will find yourself lighter, freer, and ready to walk into the future I have prepared, no longer bound by the chains of the past, but with open hands to receive new grace each day. My beloved, letting go is not the erasing of memory as though it never existed. It is the refusal to allow that memory to rule your present. It is the decision that the past will no longer lock the door to your future. You are not called to forget, but to be free. When you open your heart to me, I do not ask you to deny what has happened. I invite you to let me touch the place that has hurt the most and pour healing into it. I do not merely cover the wound, I fill the emptiness with my gentle presence. See, I am doing a new thing, now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? Isaiah 43:19. This is not a temporary encouragement. It is a declaration of my nature. I do not call you to live forever in what is past. I do not bind you to remain in an old chapter. What lies ahead is not only different, it is more precious than what you have lost. But you cannot take hold of the new if your hands are still clinging to broken pieces of the past. Look more closely. My child, I am making a way in the wilderness where you once saw only burning sand and loneliness. I am causing rivers to rise in the dry ground of your soul. What you thought was dead is not beyond my power to restore. Remember the valley of dry bones that Ezekiel saw, where no sign of life remained. Yet when I spoke, my breath caused those bones to rise again. Ezekiel 37. What you call an ending, I can call a beginning. Relationships that once seemed fractured may even now be touched by me in ways you cannot yet see. Dreams you buried out of fear of disappointment may be awakened again in their appointed season. The laughter you thought had been stolen has not vanished into forgetfulness. It is waiting to be restored. I do not only give you new things, I bring into your life people who will love you in a way that reflects my own love, without condition, without calculation, without withdrawal. My beloved, nothing in your life is without meaning. Not a single tear falls that I do not keep. Psalm 56:8. No painful experience is wasted in my hands. In all things God works for the good of those who love him. Romans 8:28. Even what you wish you could erase from memory, I am able to weave into a greater story of grace. I am redeeming time. The years you think were wasted are not beyond my reach. Just as I restored Job and gave him twice as much after his season of loss, Job 42:10, I can turn your dry seasons into the foundation for a season of fruitfulness. You are not trapped in the years that have passed. I am the God of your present and your future. Even the scars you carry are no longer signs of failure, but testimonies of survival. The scar no longer bleeds. Yet it tells the story that you walked through fire and were not consumed. It reminds you that I sustained you, upheld you, and brought you out of the place that once brought you down. Like the nail marks on my son's hands after the resurrection, John 20:27. Scars do not erase the past, but transform it into a testimony of victory. I will use what once brought you shame to become a source of comfort for others. I will use the healing within you to reach those who are hurting. What once made you weep can become a voice of hope. You are not restored for yourself alone. You are restored to become a light. Therefore, let go, not to forget, but to be free. Trust that what I am doing is greater than what you have lost. Open your hands to receive the river I am bringing forth in the wilderness. And as you step into this newness, you will realize that your past no longer imprisons you. It has become the very ground upon which I build a future filled with life, restoration, and glory. My beloved, in the days of waiting, when the ticking of time feels heavier than usual, when your prayers seem suspended without answer, I invite you to anchor your heart in my timing. You measure time by emotions and expectations, but I weave it with eternal wisdom. With the Lord, a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years are like a day. 2 Peter 3:8. I am not pressured by your urgency, yet I am never late. My timing is not off by a second, nor lacking by a moment. You see only a fragment. I see the whole picture. I know what must happen and when it must unfold, not only to resolve circumstances, but to enlarge your soul. There are blessings that, if given too soon, would break you rather than grow you. There are answers that, if delivered immediately, would satisfy the moment but miss the deeper transformation. There is a time for everything, Ecclesiastes 3:1. I do not delay out of indifference. I prepare out of love. Along this journey, the people I send into your life are never accidental. No one enters your life by chance. Some remain for a long season to walk beside you. Others appear only for a time to plant a seed that will grow years later. Remember Naomi and Ruth. The presence of one person in a season of sorrow became the pathway to restoration and a future. Ruth 1:4. I use others to support you when you are weak, to speak encouragement when your heart can no longer clearly hear my voice. Do not close your heart because of past wounds. I am sending people who will love you in a way that reflects my love. Trust in my provision. I do not promise to fulfill every desire, but I promise you will not lack what you need. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Psalm 23:2-1. I am Jehovah Jireh, the provider. Genesis 22:14. I care for your body, and I also tend to your soul. When your heart is dry, I am the living water. When you hunger for meaning, I am the bread of life. John 6:35. My supply never runs dry. Trust in my heart. There is no intention within me to harm you. Even what you do not yet understand is born from love. In all things God works for the good of those who love him. Romans 8:28. I do not watch you from a distance with indifference. I am not unmoved by your tears. I am a father who watches over every step you take, no matter how far you go. My arms remain open. Do not think that I am only the God of the mountaintop of victories and joyful cries. I am also the God of the valley. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Psalm 23:4. When you fall, I do not turn away. When you falter, I do not withdraw my presence. I walk with you in the darkness. When you cannot see the path, I am the light before you. When you tremble with fear, I am the hand that upholds you. When you feel alone, I surround you with the warmth of my presence. My beloved, Trust in my timing, in the people I send into your life, in the provision I give, and in my unchanging heart. Whether you stand on the mountaintop or walk through the deepest valley, I am still your God. And in every season, I do not merely observe, I walk with you. I guide you, and I bring to completion the good work I have begun in you. Thank you for listening to this message. Know that you are not merely a listener, you are chosen to live daily in the presence of God's Word. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you do not miss any spiritual messages. Amen. My beloved child, before you were even aware of the subtle movements unfolding around you, I had already seen your entire journey as a complete and flawless picture. Lacking not a single stroke, no step you have taken has ever fallen into a void of uncertainty, and no event has ever arisen outside of my foreknowledge. A man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps. Proverbs 16:9. You may think you are making your own choices, navigating through complex crossroads by your own strength. Yet I have quietly placed the pauses, the turns, and even the protective boundaries you have never noticed. Even when you believe you are advancing by your own ability, you are still walking within the covering of guidance I have already ordained. Yet within what seems like a familiar flow, another movement is drawing near, not to destroy you, but to awaken you. I do not speak this to instill fear in your heart, but to bring you into a deeper awareness. There is an event approaching, faster than you expect, closer than what your reasoning can measure. It may come like an unexpected collision, like a strong wind shaking what you once believed to be unshakable. And when it happens, you may feel as though the ground beneath your feet is no longer steady. But you must understand this: I am not surprised by it. I saw it before it took form. And I am speaking to you even now because my love does not remain silent when you need to be prepared. Listen to me with a heart that does not resist. For what I speak is not a sentence of judgment, but a call to return to the center. You have gone farther than necessary in your confidence in your own ability. And in that haste, you have gradually stepped away from the refuge I established for you. You have not realized that true safety is not found in speed, nor in controlling everything, but in abiding in me. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Psalm 91:1. When you step out from that shadow even slightly, you begin to place yourself in a space where collisions can reach you more easily. Remember the story of Balaam, who set out with confidence, believing he knew the way. Yet his donkey saw the angel standing in the path with a drawn sword. Balaam did not see, but the animal he rode perceived it and stopped, causing him to become angry. Only when his eyes were opened did he realize that without that interruption, he would have rushed straight into danger without knowing it. My child, there are times when I use ways you do not understand, interruptions, collision, things that seem unfavorable, to keep you from something far worse that you cannot yet see. Not every obstacle is opposition against you. Some are my protection standing between you and a greater danger. Therefore, what is coming is not an ending, but a turning point. It is not the conclusion of your journey, but a strong call for you to pause, to reflect, and to realign your position. I do not allow you to go through this to harm you, but to break the complacency that has been growing within you, and to draw you back to the place where true life begins. You have become accustomed to moving forward without pausing to ask me, accustomed to relying on what you know rather than what I am saying. And within that familiarity, you have gradually lost your sensitivity to my voice. My beloved child, there are lessons that cannot be delivered through gentle words, but must be engraved through moments that bring you to a complete halt. When you stand before an unexpected event, Every outer layer of confidence will fall away. And what remains is your truest self, the place where I can touch you fully. When you pass through the fire, you shall not be burned. Isaiah 43:2. The fire is not meant to destroy you, but to refine you, to remove what does not belong to the true nature I placed within you from the beginning. Therefore, instead of resisting what is coming, prepare your heart to walk through it with the awareness that I am still there. I do not leave you when the storms rise. I stand in the midst of those waves with you. When you feel disoriented, return to me, for I remain the unchanging point of stability. When everything around you feels shaken, remember that your true foundation is not found in outward circumstances, but in the connection between you and me. I do not call you back by force, but through a patient and tireless love. The incident you fear is not a sign that I have abandoned you. It is evidence that I am still intervening in your life so that you do not drift too far away. If I were silent, then you would truly have reason to be concerned. But I have spoken, and that in itself is grace. Slow down. Look again. Let your heart soften before me once more. For in me, nothing comes to destroy you. Everything is transformed to restore you. And when you pass through that moment with a heart that has been realigned, you will not be the same as before. You will rise with a new steadiness not rooted in what you control, but in the certainty that I am holding you in every moment, my beloved child. Before you even recognize the quiet shift unfolding within your journey, I gently called you to pause, not to confuse you, but to awaken you to a depth you have never touched before. Do not rush forward as though everything remains the same, for there are moments not meant for haste, but for listening. When you slow down and turn your heart toward me, you will realize that not every path needs to be walked, and not everything is worth holding on to. And in that stillness, I begin to whisper, guiding you away from what you cannot yet see, and opening before you a way your eyes have not yet perceived. Your ears shall hear a word behind you, saying, "This is the way. Walk in it." Isaiah 30:21. It is not because I desire for you to live in hesitation, but because I want you to walk in clarity. What I am giving you is not fear, but grace, the grace of foreknowledge, of being prepared before the waves begin to rise. If you open your heart to receive it, you will understand that a warning is not a burden, but a garment of protection placed over your life by love. I do not want you to be struck down simply because you failed to recognize what was approaching. So I speak beforehand, gently yet firmly. Like a father who cannot remain indifferent when he sees his child about to step into danger, draw nearer to me, my child, not merely with outward words, but with a true opening of your heart. There are places that can only be entered through trust, not through reasoning. When you rest within my presence, you will no longer feel threatened by what happens around you, because you will know that you do not stand alone. As it is written, "He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." Psalm 91:1. That shadow is not concealment, but covering a place where every attack loses its power before it can reach you. There may come a stretch of the path where the light seems to dim, where everything is no longer as clear as it once was. But my child, your light does not come from circumstances, it comes from me. I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness. John 8:12. Even when you cannot see each step clearly, I see the entire path, and I am not merely standing at the end waiting for you. I am walking with you in every smallest movement along the way. Do not misunderstand what is about to happen. Do not assume that an unexpected event is evidence of abandonment. On the contrary, it is precisely because I have not taken my eyes off you that I am preparing you in advance. True love does not only comfort when everything is calm, but also speaks when the waves begin to form. I do not call you back by force, but by gentle cords of grace, drawing you closer, deeper, and more truly into me. Let your heart open not only to hear my words, but to sense my heartbeat reaching toward you. There are things you cannot comprehend with your thoughts, yet you will recognize them through the peace that rises within you, and that peace will become the compass guiding you through turns that reason cannot explain. This moment is not random. It is an intersection between warning and preservation. If you take hold of my hand now, you will walk through what is coming, not as a victim, but as one who is kept. For what determines your future is not the event itself, but your position, whether you are in me or apart from me. And I say this so you may engrave it deeply within your heart. You may walk through a place of darkness, but you will not be consumed by it. The winds may rise, but they will not carry you away, for you are held within my arms. You may have to release something, but what you receive in return will be greater than what you once held. For I, the one who does not change, am using even what seems unfavorable to lead you into an outcome far better than you have ever imagined. My beloved child, let your heart rest in this truth. Nothing that is approaching lies outside of my reach. Do not allow fear to take hold of your mind. For what I give you is not confusion, but assurance. When I speak to you beforehand, it is not only a warning, but also a confirmation that I have gone before you and have already prepared what you need to stand firm. You are not stepping into the unknown alone. I was there before you ever arrived. The Lord Himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Deuteronomy 31:8. Therefore, hold fast to my word as to a lifeline in the midst of rising waves, and walk forward with the confidence that everything unfolding is held within a greater plan that you have not yet fully seen. Do not assume that my voice is one of reproach, nor mistake it for anger from a distant God. What you are hearing is the rhythm of love, a love not conditioned by your actions, not shaken by your moments of weakness. I do not love you as the world loves, where feelings shift with circumstances. I love you with an unchanging covenant, a stream that never runs dry. I have loved you with an everlasting love. Therefore I have drawn you with loving kindness. Jeremiah 31:3. Even when you do not feel me, I am still there. Even when you turn away, my gaze remains upon you. My love does not depend on your awareness. It exists because it is my very nature. I know there have been days when you walked in the light, days when peace covered your soul, when your heart felt light as though every burden had been lifted. But I have also seen the other stretches, where you walked through obscurity, where the song within you faded, where questions began to rise without immediate answers. There were moments when you stood in silence and thought I had gone far from you. You looked upward and saw only stillness. And within you a question formed. Are you still there? My child, it is precisely in those moments that I am closer to you than ever before. Remember the story of Job, a man who lost nearly everything and entered a darkness where no explanation was immediately given. He cried out. He questioned. He endured the weight of prolonged silence. Yet, even when he could not see me acting, I was present in every breath he took, sustaining him from complete collapse. And when the appointed time came, I did not merely answer him, I revealed myself to him in a deeper way than he had ever known. So it is with you. The silence you experience is not absence, but another depth of presence. I do not always speak through sound. At times I speak through the steadiness you cannot explain, through a quiet strength that holds you firm, even when everything around you trembles. There are things I do not remove immediately, not because I lack the power, but because I am working something deeper within you. If I were to take away every trial at once, you would never discover the strength I placed within you from the beginning. If I were to answer every question instantly, you would never learn to trust, even when you cannot yet see. For we walk by faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5:7. Your faith is not built in the days when everything is clear, but is formed precisely in those days when you see nothing but silence. Therefore, do not let the dark stretches define how you perceive me. Do not let silence convince you that I have turned away. I have never left my place in your life. You are simply being led into a new depth of awareness, where you no longer rely on feelings, but on truth. And that truth is this: I am here. I have always been here. Return to me, not out of fear, but because you recognize that in me is the only place where you are truly at rest. When you draw near to me, you will no longer be carried away by waves of doubt, for you will begin to feel a firm foundation beneath you. Though circumstances may shift, though the road ahead may grow dim, I remain the one who does not change. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Psalm 46:1. My beloved, believe this with all your heart. You may pass through places where the light seems hidden, but that light has never been extinguished. You may feel as though you are standing alone in a vast emptiness, yet I am there closer than your very breath. And as you continue to move forward, even if it is only a single step of faith, you will come to realize that I have never let go of you, and I never will. My beloved child, there are moments when you think you have been left behind in a silence that does not answer, as though every prayer has dissolved into nothing and no one is listening. But I tell you this with unshakable certainty: I have never left you, not even for the smallest moment. Even when you no longer recognize my voice, I am still speaking, not through loud sounds, but through the quiet stirrings deep within your soul. When you feel empty and distant, it is in that very moment that my hand still rests gently upon your life, keeping you from slipping into deeper darkness. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34:18. My nearness does not depend on your feelings. It is an unchanging reality, whether you perceive it or not. I was there in the nights when you wept unseen, when each tear fell without any human comfort able to reach you. I did not merely see, I held every tear as a testimony of the path you have walked. As it is written, you have collected all my tears in your bottle. Psalm 56:8. No pain of yours has been forgotten. No sigh has gone unnoticed. When words fail you and you cannot express what is breaking within you, I still understand more completely than anyone else. For I see not only what you reveal, but also what you keep hidden. And now, I am calling you, not with accusation, but with longing. I do not seek you because you have failed, nor do I draw you back because I am disappointed. I call you because my love for you cannot remain still when you are far away. Like the father in the story of the prodigal son, who, upon seeing his child from a distance, ran to him before a single word of apology was spoken. So is my heart toward you. Understand this: I do not wait for you to be perfect before I embrace you. I do not love you after you change. I love you so that you may be changed. Therefore, do not try to be strong in the way you think is required. Do not clothe yourself in a shell to prove that you are still fine. I do not need a perfected version of you. I want you as you are, with all your cracks, your unanswered questions, and the fragile places you try to hide. My power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12:9. The place you consider your weakest is precisely where I choose to reveal my strength most clearly. Do not let the distance between us continue to grow simply because you believe you are not worthy enough to return. You do not need to fix everything before coming to me. You do not need to gather all the broken pieces of yourself before stepping into my presence. Come as you are broken, weary, and real. I am not threatened by your brokenness. I am the one who can turn that very brokenness into something entirely new. Behold, I am making all things new. Revelation 21:5. Remember the story of the woman who had suffered from a flow of blood for many years. She had exhausted every resource and tried every remedy without success. She had nothing left to prove, no strength left to maintain appearances. Yet in that place of complete weakness, she simply reached out and touched the edge of my garment with a sincere and simple faith. And in that very moment, power flowed not because she was strong, but because she came in the truest condition of her heart. So it is with you. The thing I await is not perfection, but authenticity. I do not call you to accuse you, but to heal you. I do not speak to instill fear, but so that you may live. My love does not fluctuate with your success or failure. It does not increase when you do right, nor diminish when you stumble. It simply is ever present, unwavering, and holding you within arms that do not let go. Therefore, my beloved, return. Do not delay any longer. Do not wait until you feel good enough. It is in your weakest moment that I am nearest. And if you take even one step toward me, you will discover that I have already been running toward you for a long time. My beloved child, come closer. Do not postpone even one more moment. I do not stand at a distance waiting for you to prove anything. I am opening my arms right where you are, calling your very name with a gentleness no other voice can replace. No matter how far you think you have gone, I have never lost sight of you. I have called you by name. You are mine. Isaiah 43:1. You do not need to strive to be accepted in my love, for that love is not a reward. It is the foundation I laid beneath your feet long before you understood it. The place you belong is not a distant destination, but my very presence, a place measured not by distance, but by the openness of your heart. Return, not under the pressure to be perfected, but with a desire to live truthfully. I am not seeking artificial perfection. I long for you to live in a peace that cannot be shaken, in a light that cannot be dimmed, and in a love that is not conditioned. When you quiet your heart, you will hear my voice, not as thunder, but as a gentle stream flowing through your soul. I am still here, and I have never stopped loving you. Be still, and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. In that stillness, you will rediscover yourself, not the version you have tried to become, but the one I formed from the beginning. But, my child, you must also recognize this with deep awareness. Along the path you are walking, there are things I did not initiate, yet I have allowed them to arise in order to accomplish a purpose beyond your sight. There is a snare that has been set not to destroy you, but to expose what is hidden, to reveal what you have not yet seen, and to lead you into a higher level of discernment. Do not think that darkness can operate outside of my awareness. There is no plan formed against you that I have not seen, no intention concealed from my eyes. For nothing is hidden that will not be revealed. Luke 8:17. Even when the enemy believes he is acting in secrecy, he is still moving within a space that I fully control. The enemy does not only target your outward circumstances, he seeks to reach the core within you, your faith, the way you perceive me, and the way you see yourself. He knows that if he can plant doubt in your heart, if he can make you believe that I have withdrawn, he can draw you out of your place of safety without needing any other force. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy, John 10:10. But you must discern clearly the voice that breeds doubt, that distances you, that causes you to withdraw. That is not my voice. My voice always draws you closer, always opens the door to hope, and always keeps you within the light. Therefore, when you feel weary, when your faith begins to waver, when your mind is pulled into a spiral of unanswered questions, that is precisely the moment you must cling to me more firmly than ever. Do not allow weakness to become a doorway to distance. Let it become a deeper point of connection between you and me. The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. Psalm 2. When you remain in me, no strategy can pull you away from the protection I have established over your life. My beloved, I do not warn you so that you will live in fear, but so that you may walk in awareness. I do not speak of the snare so that you will avoid life, but so that you will recognize that you do not have to face it on your own. I have already prepared a way of escape before you even recognize the danger. I do not merely see what is coming, I have already set a path through it. And when you follow my guidance, you will not only escape what has been laid out against you, but you will emerge with a maturity you have never known before. So draw nearer still. Do not turn away. Do not let the noise of the world cause you to forget my gentle call. I do not pull you with chains, but with grace. I do not hold you with fear, but with a love that does not let go. And when you take hold of my hand, you will come to understand that nothing can cause you to fall. Because it is not circumstances that determine your future. It is my presence in your life that secures your victory. My beloved child, let your heart stand firm in this truth. There is no power above me, and no plan formed that I have not already seen. Do not let the image of schemes cause you to tremble, for even when they are formed in darkness, they cannot exceed the boundaries I have set. I am the one who renders every weapon ineffective when you are in me, the one who causes every scheme to scatter like dust before the wind. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah 54:17 is not a distant promise, but a living inheritance for you, a guarantee that what is most precious within you will always be preserved. But my child, understand this more deeply. I am not calling you into a life without conflict, but into a journey where you are never abandoned within it. I am not saying you will never weep, but I promise that not a single tear will fall without my touch. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes. Revelation 21:4. My presence does not always remove circumstances, but it transforms the way you pass through them. When darkness surrounds you, I do not always extinguish it immediately, but I place within you a light that cannot be overcome. Remember Daniel in the lion's den. The entrance was sealed. The danger was real, and every possibility of survival seemed gone. Yet in that place, which appeared to be the end, I sent my angel to shut the mouths of the lions. It was not that Daniel was spared from being thrown into the den, but that he was not abandoned within it. So it is with you. There are places I do not prevent you from entering, yet I transform those very places into a revelation of my power. What you need is not a path without trials, but the awareness that I am present in every step you take. There are times I allow you to face what exceeds your own strength, not to measure how much you can endure, but to lead you to the realization that you were never created to fight alone. When you release control and allow me to act, you will begin to witness what you once only heard about. I fight on your behalf. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. And in that stillness, there is no helplessness. There is absolute trust. My beloved, the snare you fear does not have the authority to define your outcome. What was set to cause your fall can become the very ground that lifts you if you remain in me. I am able to take what appears unfavorable and turn it into an instrument that shapes you, expands you, and leads you into depths you have never known. What the enemy intended for harm, I turn for your good. This is not coincidence. It is my power at work within what you cannot control. Therefore, do not let your heart tremble at what has not yet happened. Move forward, not by your own strength, but through reliance on me. Hold fast to the light I have placed within you. For that light does not come from favorable conditions, but from my very nature dwelling within you. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119 to 105. When you walk in that light, you do not need to see the entire road, only enough for the next step. There will come a day when you look back on this stretch of your journey and realize something you cannot yet fully understand. The place you thought was most dangerous was the place where I covered you most deeply. The place you believed was the end became a beginning. And in the midst of trial, your faith was refined not to exhaust you, but to purify you, to make you steadfast, and to cause you to shine like gold tested by fire. After you have suffered a little while, He will restore you and make you strong, firm, and steadfast. 1 Peter 5:10. So, my beloved, rise in courage without striving. Walk in peace without needing to understand everything. I go before you. I am with you, and I will never leave you. And when you remain in me, no darkness can cover you. For the light you carry is not something external. That light is me. My beloved child, keep your heart anchored in the stillness I am placing within you. For what is approaching is not meant to cause panic, but to draw you closer to me. Do not let the voices of threat echo in your mind and make you forget an unchanging truth. I am faithful, and not one of my promises falls to the ground. When you hear a warning, do not retreat in fear, draw nearer in trust. Every sign you receive is not an alarm for panic, but an invitation to hide more deeply within my covering. I am with you always, even to the end of the age. Matthew 28:20 is not merely a comforting phrase, but a living covenant that is covering your life even now. You are not preserved because you are never weak, but because I am the unshakable foundation. When you take refuge in me, nothing has the power to destabilize the future I have already established for you. The Lord is the stronghold of my life, whom shall I fear? Psalm 27:1. Protection does not depend on outward circumstances. It flows from my unchanging nature. And when I have determined something for you, no force can rewrite its outcome. I see your heart beginning to open, even if only slightly, and I recognize that movement clearly. I see the desire being kindled within you, a longing to return to the light, a hunger to hear my voice clearly amid the many voices pulling you in different directions. Do not dismiss these small stirrings, for within what seems gentle and insignificant, I am beginning a deep work in you. Whoever has ears, let them hear what the Spirit says. Revelation 2:7. When you incline your heart to listen, you are opening the door for your destiny to be aligned with what I have ordained from the beginning. Understand this well. My child, I never leave you in times of difficulty. When the storm begins to form, I do not stand at a distance as a detached observer. I draw nearer. I speak more clearly. I stir your soul not to frighten you, but to awaken you. When darkness gathers, that is not the moment I withdraw. It is the moment I shine more deeply within you. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they shall not overwhelm you. Isaiah 43:2. I do not merely know where you are, I am there with you. I do not wait for you to become perfect before I call you. If that were so, you would never hear my voice. I call you while you are still fragile, when your mind is unsettled, when your heart has not yet found clarity. It is within that incompleteness that I come, not to condemn, but to direct you, not to expose your failures, but to lead you back into your rightful position. For what I am doing is not merely correcting a moment, but shaping the entire path ahead of you. Remember Peter when he walked upon the water. When his eyes were fixed on me, he walked in what was impossible. But when he looked at the wind and the waves, he began to sink. And the moment he cried out, I reached out my hand and caught him. I did not wait for him to sink completely before acting. So it is with you at the very moment you begin to falter. I am already there. What I require is not your perfection, but your gaze returning to me. My beloved, what I am speaking to you is not merely guidance for the present. It is an intervention into your future. I am speaking not only to your ears, but into the direction of your life. When you choose to listen, you are choosing for your path to be adjusted. When you choose to trust, you step into a realm of safety that no circumstance can undo. So let your heart continue to soften. Do not close yourself because you do not yet understand everything. Do not withdraw because you cannot yet see the full picture. Remain in my presence, even in the simplest way, and you will come to realize that in the midst of all change, one thing never shifts. I am still here, still leading, and still holding you in my hands. My beloved child, let these words sink into the deepest, most hidden place of your soul. There are things you are about to face that do not originate from me, yet they are not outside of my permission. A snare has been set in the region you are approaching, not to end your journey, but to reveal who you truly are when nothing remains to cover you. Do not think that darkness can act without my awareness. Before the intention was formed, I had already seen it. Before the net was spread, I had prepared a way of escape. The Lord knows how to rescue the godly from trials. 2 Peter 2:9. Therefore, my word comes not to instill anxiety, but to place discernment within you so that you may choose the light instead of unknowingly stepping into darkness. Understand this, my child. The enemy does not merely seek to make you stumble in a moment. He aims at something deeper, your faith, the way you see me, and the stability within you. He desires to shake the boundary of peace I have established around you, to plant the question of whether I am still there. But remember this, the voice that draws you away, that causes you to doubt, my love, is never my voice. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life. John 10:10. When your heart remains anchored in me, no plan of darkness can reach the core I have placed within you. I am not only the one who warns from a distance, I am the one who steps in with you to deliver. What has been set up to cause harm can become the very ground for a miracle when you remain in me. Remember David before Goliath. Others saw an unbeatable giant, but David saw an opportunity for my power to be revealed. The place that seemed impossible became the place where victory was established. So it is with you. What you fear may become the very place where my intervention is made most clear. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah 54:17 is not merely a promise for you to hear, but a reality for you to step into when you abide in me. I know you are weary. I see the battles you are facing, not only outwardly, but within your thoughts and emotions. You are standing between what you believe and what you feel, between the light you know and the darkness you perceive. But listen to me, the flame within you has not gone out. What you perceive as weakness is the very place where I am breathing life again. A bruised reed he will not break, and a smoldering wick he will not snuff out. Isaiah 42:3. I do not come to extinguish what remains in you. I come to make it burn brighter. Therefore, be still before me, not as a withdrawal, but as a realignment. Let every noise settle, and allow your heart to become soft, like soil that has been tilled, ready to receive the seed of my word. What I am speaking is not merely to comfort you for a moment. It is a call awakening you into a new position. Be still, and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. When you are still, you do not lose anything. You open yourself to receive what is greater. My beloved, this is a decisive moment, not because I force you, but because you are standing between two voices. One is the noise of agitation and fear, pulling you into haste and distraction. The other is my voice, gentle yet certain, leading you into life. You cannot follow both. If you desire to stand firm in the day of testing, you must anchor your heart in me, in my word, in my unchanging presence. I am not placing an additional burden upon you. I am calling you so that I may carry it for you. Cast your burden upon the Lord, and he will sustain you. Psalm 55:22. Remember this as an unshakable foundation. I am your refuge, the rock that never collapses. You do not need to wonder whether I am present when everything trembles. I was there before it began. When no one understands you, I understand. When no one dares to step into your pain, I am already within it. And even in the moments when you cry out, "Where are you?" I am whispering deep within you, "I am still here." Now I am placing upon you something you may perceive as a weight, but it is not to crush you, it is to consecrate you. It is the weight of my glory, reshaping you from within. At the same time, I am placing within you the warmth of my love, not as a consuming fire, but as a restoring heat that revives what has grown cold. And together with this, I am extending to you a call not as a forced command, but as an invitation to step into what I ordained for you before you were born. Therefore, my child, do not delay, do not turn away. Step into what I am opening before you now. For in this very moment between what you do not yet understand and what I already know, a door is opening. And if you walk with me, you will not only pass through the snare, but you will enter into a new chapter where my light will shine more clearly than ever before. My beloved child, do not draw back when your heart begins to tremble at my touch. There are moments when that covering may feel overwhelming, intense, beyond what you expected. But it is precisely in those moments that I am initiating a new work, a work that does not merely touch the surface of your life, but reaches into depths you have never allowed anyone to enter. Do not avoid that stirring, for it is not a threat, it is a sign of life being awakened. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth, do you not perceive it? Isaiah 43:19. I am rebuilding what you thought was broken, gathering scattered fragments to form something more whole, more resilient, and more radiant. You are not only being brought out of darkness for safety, you are being called to become light for those who are still lost. I am not merely delivering you so that you may stand still in protection. I am lifting you so that you may become a path through which others find their way. Remember Esther, a woman who seemed to be placed in her position simply to exist, yet was appointed for such a time as this. Esther 4:14. So it is with you. Your deliverance is not for you alone. It is preparation for you to carry light into dark places. And it begins with a moment that is simple yet filled with power when you open your heart and say with sincerity, "Lord, here I am." Engrave this deeply within your soul. You will see my deliverance, not as a distant story, not as an abstract promise, but as a living reality within your life. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Exodus 14:13. There will be moments when you will witness with your own eyes what you once only heard about, when my hand intervenes and stops what seemed unavoidable. When what threatened you is turned back before you. When the cracks within you become the very places where my glory is poured in. What you feared would break you will become the place where I make you whole. But my child, there is something I will not conceal from you. That deliverance requires a wholehearted response from you. Not a part of you, not a divided heart, not moments of drawing near, only to withdraw again. I am not calling you into a partial relationship. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. Matthew 22:37. I do not require perfection from you, but I desire wholeness, a heart undivided, a will willing to place itself under my guidance. Do not let your lips speak of love, while your heart wanders elsewhere. Do not let nearness to me become something that happens only when it is convenient. I am inviting you into a continual flow where every thought, every decision, every breath gradually aligns with my heartbeat. When you remain in that flow, the life that comes from me is no longer hindered, and my power is no longer limited in your life. Whoever abides in me, and I in them, bears much fruit. John 15:5. Not by your effort, but by your connection to me. I am not seeking outward obedience that lacks understanding, feeling, or connection. I desire a living relationship where you know me and I know you, where you do not only hear my voice but also recognize my heart in what I speak. I do not call you as an obligation to be fulfilled, but as a father calling his child home, as a companion inviting you to walk together, as one who loves you and never departs. And if you truly choose me not only with words, but by releasing what pulls you away, I will open before your eyes things you have never seen, what no eye has seen, what no ear has heard, and what no human heart has conceived, the things God has prepared for those who love him. 1 Corinthians 2-9. Not because you are worthy, but because you have chosen to remain in me. Therefore, my beloved, be courageous. Do not fear the transformation taking place within you. Do not avoid the call that is becoming clearer. This is not the end of what you have known. It is the beginning of what you were created to become. And if you step into this moment with an open heart, you will realize that I am not only delivering you, I am transforming you, so that through you, my light may reach many others. My beloved child, you are standing at a threshold. I have long prepared a boundary between what is fading and what is waiting to be revealed. But understand this, that door does not open to hesitant steps. It does not open to a heart that keeps looking back, nor to one that withholds a portion of itself. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3:5. I do not force you to step through, for I have given you the power to choose. Yet I am calling you to enter with a fullness you have not known before, a surrender without reservation, without negotiation, without division. There are things I desire to touch within you, yet you are still holding them closed. There are places I long to heal, yet you have not released them into my hands. Understand this clearly. I do not force open doors you have not chosen to open, not because I lack power, but because I honor the freedom of love I have placed within you. And so, the fullness of what I desire to do always begins with your willingness. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in. Revelation 3:20. I have knocked, and I am still knocking, but you are the one who determines how much is opened. Do not allow partial surrender to quietly steal what I have prepared in fullness. It is not always the great decisions that lead you astray, but the small compromises, subtle, unnoticed, that slowly dim the light within you. The world will always offer easier alternatives, paths that appear peaceful but carry no life, voices that sound pleasant but lack truth. There is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death. Proverbs 14:12. You must discern not by emotion, but by your connection to me. Remember the people of Israel when they stood before the promised land. They were brought to the very edge of what I had promised. Yet many did not enter, not because the door was closed, but because their hearts were divided, fearful, and still attached to what was familiar behind them. And that hesitation caused them to miss what I had prepared. My child, I do not want you to stand at the threshold without stepping through. I have not called you merely to see, but to enter. My deliverance is not an ending, it is a beginning. I do not draw you out of danger so that you may return to your former ways. I rescue you to lead you into a new depth where you are no longer governed by circumstances, but led by my Spirit. If anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, all things have become new. 2 Corinthians 5:17. You are not called to go back, but to move forward into an entirely different life. And if you feel you do not have the strength, hear me clearly. I do not ask of you a strength you do not possess. I do not require you to accomplish on your own what I have called you to. What I seek in you is not ability, but willingness. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12:9. When you are willing, I act. When you release, I fill. When you take one step, I open a path far greater than you can imagine. My beloved, I am the one who never calls without preparing. There is no calling from me that lacks provision. If I am calling you into something new, I have already placed within you, or I am preparing within you, everything you need to obey. You do not need to see the entire road. You only need to trust the one who leads you. Therefore, do not hesitate any longer. Do not hold back any part of your heart. Step across this threshold with complete trust. For on the other side of that door is not a fearful unknown, but what I have already prepared, a life where you are not only preserved, but transformed, established, and used for a purpose greater than yourself. And when you step into it, you will realize that what I have promised is not merely words. It is a reality waiting for you to live within it. My beloved child, this is the moment when you can no longer stand between two choices. I do not call you to remain in endless deliberation, nor do I invite you into what is new with hesitation. I am waiting for a decision not merely spoken by your lips, but expressed through every rhythm of your life. Let your whole being answer, you choose me, without holding back, without turning away, without compromise. For when you choose me fully, you will not only witness deliverance, but you will see my glory revealed through your very life. A faithful person will be richly blessed. Proverbs 28:20. And I, the one who has spoken, will never allow my word to return empty when you walk in trust. But my child, I understand you more than you understand yourself. I see behind the strength you try to maintain a soul that has grown weary from fighting for too long. I see the quiet places within you, where you are no longer certain you can believe as you once did. I hear the questions you are afraid to voice. What if you place your trust fully and the outcome does not come? What if you hope once more, only to be shattered again? My beloved, I do not avoid these questions. I have heard them all. I know every fear, every moment you withdrew just to avoid another disappointment. Listen to me not as a rebuke, but as an embrace. A bruised reed I will not break, and a smoldering wick I will not snuff out. Isaiah 42:3. I do not come to make you weaker. I come to preserve what remains in you and bring it back to life. The parts of you that you believe are too fragile to reveal, those are the very places I long to touch. There is no dark corner within you that my light cannot enter. There is no fracture that causes me to turn away. On the contrary, it is precisely in your brokenness that I draw nearest. Remember the woman who touched the edge of my garment in the crowd. She had nothing to display, no strength left to preserve her dignity, only a fragile yet genuine faith. And it was that sincerity that opened the flow of power. So it is with you. I do not require perfect faith. I seek a truthful heart. When you come to me as you truly are, I begin to do what you cannot accomplish on your own. I call you back not because I need you, but because I know that if you continue to carry your burdens alone, you will be exhausted. I did not create you merely to endure day by day. I formed you to live in freedom, in restoration, in the destiny that has been set before you. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened. And I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. But that rest does not come while you hold everything tightly. It comes when you release and entrust it to me. Do not be afraid when I speak of what is ahead, of collisions, of snares, of moments that will cause you to pause. These are not judgments against you, they are mercy speaking. I warn you not so that you will tremble, but so that you may awaken and choose your position rightly. For what is happening is not an ending, it is a transition. A former chapter is closing not because you have failed, but because I am opening a new one. My beloved, I am the author of your story. No event can take the pen from my hand. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. Revelation 22:13. What I have spoken over your life cannot be erased by your mistakes, undone by your past, or blocked by your present. Even when there are lines that seem marked by tragedy, I am able to rewrite them into glory. Therefore, decide not by fleeting emotion, but through a true surrender. Come near to me without hiding, without defense, without a mask, and trust to me even the parts you consider unworthy, and you will see this. I will not only keep you from falling, I will raise you up. I will not only save you from danger, I will lead you into purpose. I will not only heal your wounds, I will turn them into marks of my power. Come, my child, this is not your end. This is your beginning again, and this time, you will not walk alone. I am here, and I will complete what I have begun in you. My beloved, engrave this deeply within your soul, the work I have started in you. I will never abandon, not because you are always strong, but because my nature is faithful. He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Jesus Christ. Philippians 1:6. When you are so weary that you cannot go on, I do not stand at a distance observing. I bend down, lift you up, and carry you through the places you do not have the strength to cross. When your prayers can no longer form words, when your heart is left only with scattered sighs, I still understand because I hear what language cannot express. The Spirit Himself intercedes for us with groanings too deep for words. Romans 8:26. There is no moment when you are lost from me, even when you cannot see the way. I remain the voice that calls you back, the light at the end of the path, the arms always open. So do not be afraid to come near me. Do not let feelings of unworthiness cause you to withdraw, for the places you most want to hide are the very places I most desire to touch. I do not come to expose you in shame, but to heal you in love. I do not only draw you out of danger, I want you to know that you are loved, a love that is unchanging, unconditional, and not dependent on what you can or cannot do. I have loved you with an everlasting love, Jeremiah 31:3. And that love does not retreat when you are weak, it draws even closer. Do not think that what lies ahead is only darkness. As you draw near to me, I will continue writing your story with a light that no darkness can overcome. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1:5. What I am preparing is not only your safety, but your transformation through me. When I save you, I do not merely keep you from falling, I raise you up so that you may become an instrument of light for others. Remember Gideon, a man who hid in fear. Yet I called him a mighty warrior even before he saw it in himself. I do not see you only as you are, I see you as you will become when you remain in me. You are not destined for failure. You are destined for glory, not glory as the world defines it, but the revelation of me through your life. Yet there is something I am waiting for, not because I lack anything, but because I honor you. I wait for you to open your heart and choose me, not only with words, but with a genuine surrender. When you say, Lord, here I am, even while you are still weary, still afraid, yet choosing to believe in that very moment, a door opens within your soul, and I begin to do what you could never do on your own. But my child, understand this clearly. I need you to trust me, not a faith that appears only when circumstances are favorable, not a faith that wavers the moment results are not immediate. I am calling you into a deeper faith, a faith not governed by circumstances, not led by emotions, not suffocated by delay. The righteous shall live by faith. Romans 1:17. That faith is not a feeling of certainty. It is the choice to stand firm even when you do not yet see. Learn from the image of a child when it runs into its father's arms. It does not measure the distance or analyze whether those arms are strong enough. It simply knows its father is there, and that is enough. So it is with you. I do not ask you to understand the entire path ahead. I invite you to trust that I am there. And if I am there, you are secure, even when circumstances seem to say otherwise. Remember Abraham when I called him out of what was familiar. I did not give him a detailed map. I gave him a promise, and he walked not because he saw clearly, but because he trusted the one who called him to be faithful. You are standing before such a call now. Not everything will be explained at once, but everything will be guided if you choose to trust. My beloved, if you truly grasp how deeply I love you, not only in your strength, but also in your brokenness, you will no longer run away. You will not withdraw when you feel weak. You will draw closer, because you will know there is no safer place than in me. And when you remain in me, what I have promised will no longer be words. It will become reality. So, come, believe, release what you are holding, and then you will see, not in imagination, but in your very life, that I am faithful. And when you walk fully with me, I will complete everything I have begun. My beloved child, do not continue chasing outward signs as though they are the only confirmation of my presence with you. What the eyes see can be deceived, and outward manifestations can be imitated. But my whisper within your heart can never be counterfeit. I do not need to display power through noise to prove that I am present. I choose the path of stillness, because only in that stillness can your soul truly recognize me. Be still, and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. But you will not hear if you do not pause. Pause from the hurried rhythm of life, from the racing thoughts, from the unceasing anxiety. Remain with me not as a passing habit, but as the place where you belong. I do not long for hurried moments you give me between countless distractions. I do not seek a relationship reduced to obligation. I desire for you to remain long enough in my presence for your mind to quiet, for the layers of external noise to fall away, for you to sense that I am not only speaking, I am there, with you. And as you remain, without striving to do anything, my spirit begins to move, not through pressure, but through gentleness. He reshapes the way you think, removes each lie that has quietly entered your heart, and replaces it with unshakable truth. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. Then you will begin to see everything differently, not through fear, but through spiritual clarity. My word is not a collection of outdated lines left behind in the past. My word is alive, active, and carries my very breath. When you open the scriptures not as an obligation but as an encounter, you will hear my voice within every line. The word of God is living and active. Hebrews 4:12. You will come to recognize that I always warn before danger arrives, and I always prepare protection before you even realize you need it. From the beginning until now, no one who has placed their trust in me has ever been abandoned, and you, my child, are no exception. Look to those who have gone before you, people who were just as weak, fearful, and full of doubt as you are. They were not different in nature, but they chose to believe. And I worked greatly through their lives. Like Gideon, trembling and hiding, yet I called him a mighty warrior. Like Moses, who believed he lacked the ability to speak, yet I used him to deliver an entire nation. In their stories, you will find yourself not as you are now, but as you can become when you trust me. There, you will find hope, not rooted in fleeting emotion, but in unchanging truth. Therefore, do not wait until all doubt disappears before seeking me. Do not delay until every question is answered before you believe. Come to me in your uncertainty. Seek me in the midst of what you do not yet understand. It is in that quiet faithfulness that I am building you, not by your own strength, but by my living power. And a day will come when you look back and realize that every word I spoke was true, and that your trust was never misplaced. When you learn to trust me not only with your mind, but with a softened heart, you will enter into a depth you have never known before. I have not called you merely to survive each day. I have called you into abundant life, where you are no longer led by fear or outward signs, but by my presence within you. I have come that they may have life, and have it abundantly. John 10:10. As you step into this, you will see my glory not in distant places, but within the very circumstances you face each day. My beloved, believe this: nothing that has wounded you will be wasted. I have gathered every tear, every silent battle, every moment when you thought you could not continue. And now, I will use those very things to reveal my faithfulness. Like Joseph, what others intended for harm became a path to save many. So it will be with you. Your broken places will become the very places where my light shines most powerfully. But I do not stop at protecting you. I am bringing to completion the purpose I placed within you. The dreams within your heart are not accidental. The deep desires you carry are not merely your own, they are seeds I have sown. And now, the time has come for them to be revealed. You have hesitated. You have doubted. You have wondered whether you are enough. But I say to you, now is the time to step forward, not because you are perfectly ready, but because I am with you. There are people waiting for you, not because you are perfect, but because you carry within you what they need. There are souls that are dry, and I desire to use you as a stream that brings life to them. I am calling you to build not by the standards of the world, but by the things of my kingdom: unconditional love, selfless sacrifice, unwavering faithfulness, and a light that never fades. Therefore, my beloved, pause to listen, remain to be transformed, and then step forward to become. For I, the Lord, the faithful one, have begun a work in you, and I will bring it to completion as you trust me enough to remain, enough to listen, and enough to walk with me. Thank you for listening to this message. Know this: you are not merely a listener, you are chosen to live daily in the presence of the Word of God. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you will not miss any spiritual messages. Amen.